that could be the greatest patch ever recorded in the history of patches. I've been a 2Notes user for about 8 years now, and if you've seen my channel before, you've almost certainly seen the 𝗬𝗓𝗥𝗧 behind me in literally hundreds of videos. And now 2Notes have asked me to check out their latest guitar and bass ecosystem, Genome. Ecosystem's a bit fancy for me, so I'll call it what it is, a piece of software that handles the whole signal chain. It's got pedals, amps, cabs, studio effects, and maybe even more by the time you watch this. And in fact, they've just released version 1.8, 4 new amps and 4 new effects. You can use the whole version of Genome free for 14 days by downloading it at the link in my video description. In this video, I'm going to go over how to get started with Genome, what's new in the new version 1.8, how to get even more stuff for free, and I'll make some presets as well, and I'll put them up for download for free. There's a lot of free stuff in this video. First, let's hear Genome in action. You can load up Genome as a standalone app on your PC or Mac, or you can load it as a plugin into your favorite recording software. In this video, I'm going to load it up in Logic, but it works in most major DAWs, including GarageBand and Reaper. I've got my guitar plugged in to my audio interface, which is the PreSonus Quantum HD8. That's into input 1, which is a high Z input. If you have an audio interface and it's got a jack socket with a picture of a guitar on it, plug into there, because I'm not going to go deep into audio interfaces and how to get this thing working. I'm just going to get on with making some sounds. So I've got the guitar going to track 2, input 1, and I need to load Genome as a plugin. When it loads up, it's going to look something like this. This is the main page where you get a lovely 3D representation of an amp. Across the top here is your signal chain. So left is where the guitar would go in, and right is where you would hear the sound. These are all blocks, and if you've used any software or any multi-effects in the past, you probably recognize that you can load things into these blocks. And in Genome, you do it by pressing the plus, and then you've got all this different menus down here where you can add something. So I'm not going to add anything yet. I am going to go through a couple of my favorite presets. Here are the presets, and there's a load of them. There's some with some really funny names. Irony Man. I'm going to grab an SG and play that in a moment. Down here, however, is the name of the amp we're using, the Gemini. And then within that, you've got some sort of recommended sounds, so presets within the presets. But these are available in every actual preset. So let's get some playing. I'm going to grab the SG and play Irony Man. This patch is quite noisy, so it's a good opportunity for me to explain how the gate works. Turn the gate on by pressing that button, open up the gate settings by pressing that button, and then what I want to do is learn where my guitar noise gate settings should be. So I'm going to press learn whilst holding the strings and having everything open. Learning, -67, so there we go. Then I'm going to tune the guitar using the inbuilt tuner. I'm going to mute it as well. I do like this tuner because it's nice and big, and there's a great use of colors. Of course, you can use Genome when playing live if you're that sort of laptop player, and I guess this would be very useful on screen on big stages or even small stages. I should also say that you can use MIDI to control stuff like this. I'm not going to be using MIDI in this video. I am going to be playing this song though. So, Big Fuzz Albion amp, which is clearly a British Marshall amp. Let's hear what it sounds like. Big and fat and thick. What else can I play through? Bait it. That's amazing fun. Let's try something that isn't SG and Marshall. Oh, this is Muse. Okay, not my favorite fuzzy sound, but I like the way that they've split the channel just here. So the input's coming in here, remember? And then it's splitting into two different signal chains. So we've got a big fuzz, which is clearly a big muff. That's going into a guitar EQ, 7-band. And then also on the other side, we've got an EQ which looks a lot like FabFilter going there, and that's going into a fuzz. So kind of the other way around, but not the same EQ. And then that is coming back together to go through the Foundry amp, which looks very Fendery. That's going into the cab, which is being taken care of courtesy of the 𝗙𝗩𝗨𝗪. And if you've never seen or worked with 𝗙𝗩𝗪s before, a 𝗙𝗩𝗪 is an impulse response that's dynamic, meaning you can alter the settings pretty simply. And to quickly show you, you can move the mic position. So you can move it this way by doing that, or you can just come over here, grab it, and move it. And then this mic is mic B, which is a condenser mic 87, so a Neumann 87. If we press this, we're going to see the front of the cab. There we go. And that is mic A, which is a ribbon 121, so the Royal 121. And there's a bunch of mics on there, including the old classic SM57. I've made a change to that preset, so I'm just going to go to a different preset and go back to it so I don't make any accidental changes and save something. So yeah, that's the cab. Sorry, that's the miking of the cab. And then you can change the cab itself, 1x6, 1x8, all that there, or a mix, which is really fun. And then within those settings, so I quite like 2x12s, you've got all these different cabs with different speakers in them. So where have we got there? The G12M Greenback Celestion closed is one of my favorite. So you can have a look at it there. But if you want to have it open, you can hear the difference there. Right, let's check out a clean preset somewhere. Let's go all the way back to that first preset that I managed to skip over, which is called Cali Cleans. One of my favorite things about two-note stuff is the reverbs they have. They're big, or they can be big, but they're not too ambient, so they don't last too long, and they still sound kind of real. So it's just beautiful. In fact, I think I could boost that guitar a little bit because I'm playing a little softer and it's single coils. Very nice, and I should set the noise gate again, so volume all the way open, hold the strings, learn. Yeah, it changed a little bit. Preset number 1 is going to be with one of the new amps, the Samhain or Samhain, and that's based on a Sun Model T, the reissue. So I'm going to go to Bank F, because this is completely empty, load up patch 0, and that's a completely empty signal chain. So I'm going to start by adding the amp, which would be there, then amplifier, and then Samhain or Samhain. I'm going to go with Samhain because I think that's more fun to say. I'm leaving a few blocks here space free in case I want to put some pedals in there. After that, I'm going to want to put a cab, the 𝗙𝗩𝗪 cab loader, and I want to go a 4x12. And have I got the one that I want? Yes, the Laney LA412HLC, which looks suitably destroyed. There we go, there's our cab. And then I'm going to throw a reverb after it, but let's put it in that one just in case. I'm going to put a spring reverb on there, the Spring 63. I'll first change guitars to something that I think is a bit more suitable. This is my Jupiter from Valiant Guitars. It's got bare knuckle pickups in it. It is a monster. Let's sort out that noise gate first. So volume all the way open. There we go. Right. And let's go for channel 1 first. Sounds huge. I'm actually going to turn it up on my speakers a little bit so I get more of the volume. I like the way it sort of still blooms at the end. I'm not a Model T freak, and I'm certainly not an expert, but it feels right. I'm going to put an effect in front of it. I'm going to try and boost that front end with a green meanie, which is the Tube Screamer, and I'm going to just push the level up. It's a good start. Let's in fact go to amp settings. Oh, no, it's green meanie settings, sorry. Amp settings, and see what two notes have put in there. Let's have sludge. It's a bit too much reverb there for me. It's still there. So let's go in here and bring that mix down to about... All right, now what does it sound like without the green meanie? I'm not sure it needs it. I prefer it with, but it's a bit bright, so let's go there and bring the tone down just a bit. Great, the reverb's still not quite right. Let's change that reverb out to a tetraverb. And watch this. The springs move when you play. I know that plugins should ultimately be about the sound and the feel and the feedback with the musician, but part of the thing about real gear is knowing that things are moving, and seeing that thing move on there just reminds me that, yeah, things could be real, but they're not. But they could be. You can also use the gain on this to get some quite gnarly sounds. That's pretty good. I'm just going to widen that up a bit. One of the downsides of using plugins is you've got such a vast amount of tweakability that you can spend too much time tweaking, and you can also add things that are not needed. That's already a great tone, but because I want to add more. So I'm just going to show you one thing that we could do. There, I'm going to add a studio twin tracker. So if you're doing a rhythm guitar part, rather than having to track it twice and put one left and one right, you could use this. It's really fun. Actually, I want to make one more change to add one of the new effects. I left some space here for some effects, and I'm going to add one of the new 4 pitch effects. So there's pitch mix, dual octaver, glide it, and organ donor. And I'm going to go with pitch mix, which looks very much like a Digitech pedal. I'm going to drop that pitch to -3, taking me from E standard to E flat to D to C sharp standard. And then mix, I'm putting all the way up so we get none of the original tuning through. And then I'm going to put it on fast tracking And if you're playing, I would put it on fast tracking, but if you are recording, I would use accurate pitch. So I'll show you both. And then turn it off for a moment. Turn it back on and I'll put it on accurate pitch. So hopefully accurate pitch sounded better. It was a bit weird for me. There's a little bit of latency as a player. So if I was using this for rehearsing or recording, I would track with fast tracking on, but then when I wanted to mix down, I'd put it on accurate pitch to give me a better sound. New guitar, new preset. I'm going to go and put the amp there. This is the Snakebite 50, which is a Soldano 50 amp. Going to put it through a cab, of course, the dynamic cab loader, and we'll stick with the standard default Marshall 4x12, which I think has got vintage 30s in it. And then we'll look at these little settings down here. Balanced OD crunch, everything at noon. Let's try warm, normal, clean. So we've got 2 channels on this amp, normal and overdrive. That's on the normal. And let's hear what it sounds like. Obviously dry as a dry thing. Let's put some reverb on there. Let's go for the tetraverb. No. I keep going towards that because I like the springs moving. That's the only reason that I really like that. Let's put the mix down on this, intensity a bit higher. There, the spring 63. Let's try that. I need to tune this guitar again. Let's give that a bash. It's a bit beefy, isn't it? So let's, oh, of course it is. The bass is all the way up there. Let's bring that down a little bit. What was it called? What was this punch thing's called? Warm. Okay, it's too warm for my liking. Let's bring that depth down as well and have the presence up a little bit. It's great. Let's get some delay in there while we're doing this. We'll have, what's the dupe delay? I've never, oh, it's just, I think that's a carbon copy. Just want one little tiny, not a slap back, but I feel like I need to add something at the front end just to give me a little bit of extra, you know? The Sabre is a boost. That's it, that's me done. That is a great patch. Right, save that as the 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 50. This is the Calibro 73, and I'm going into a Noise Factory Studio 2x15. There's a studio reverb on there set there to big and bright. And the guitar, if I just turn that off for a moment, it sounds like this. But when I turn this on, there's a lot of use for stuff like that, but I still want to hear some guitar in there, so I'm going to split the chain. So let's split it just here. There we go, split there. And on this side, I want the organ donor. And let's move that over a little bit to give me some more space just by dragging and dropping. And this, and then I'm going to set that organ donor to, where's the mix? Dry. So I want dry 0. So that's what it sounds like currently. Still coming through dry because we've got this here. So I need to add maybe a fuzz. Yes, a fuzz. The big fuzz. And then I'm going to rejoin there. See what that sounds like? That could be the greatest patch ever recorded in the history of patches. Wow. The organ still feels a little bit overwhelming, so that was accurate pitch, and this is fast tracking. Still pretty fast, or it feels fast with the accurate pitch. I just want to bring that level down. How can I? There we go. So I could compress that. I'm really, really happy with that. So save. Organical March. I don't know what that means. That's 3 patches. I promised you 4, and I'm not sure I'm going to outdo that one, but let's see what I can come up with maybe one of the new high gain amps. Open bank, there we go. And I don't feel that this guitar is very high gain, so I'm going to switch it out. This one feels more like it, something from 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪 guitars, which they sadly don't make anymore. I love it, big fat neck. So we have 2 choices for the new amps. We've got either the 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪, which looks so scary, or we've got the Rampage. That's an 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, isn't it? I'm going to go with that. I'm going to put that into a cab. This one's going to be a 4x12, and I want the Kraken. See what that sounds like. In fact, now let's go back to the amp, and let's add a little reverb just to give me a little bit of space. Studio reverb and tight room. There we are. Rampage, and I don't want lead. I want. Let's have balanced crunch. That's too much room there. Come on, 2 notes. Now, let's see what that sounds like. Sounds a bit tame. Let's have it a little bit wilder. I am going to change to the other amp. Let's see what it sounds like. I was scared of it, but let's do it. Oh, I like it. All right. 𝗬𝗙𝙙𝗪. I can tell you this, I would have loved this as a kid, or teenager, I should say. Man, that's brilliant fun. Okay, I feel like I can do more with that patch, but I've just stolen someone else's patch. Can I at least meet it up a little bit? Honestly, that probably feels to you, or sounds to you, like the Insane channel on a spider, but it is a lot of fun to play. So that's just going to be my guilty pleasure patch. There we are. I'm going to have to baritone it. Yep, time to baritone. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Yeah, I'm even going to name that like baritone, because you can obviously play it on a regular guitar and play it with anything you want, but I'm going to call it Go Buy a Baritone, because if you don't have one, you need one. And then you can smile like this. Right, that's all my presets done. I am just going to load another empty patch, because I want to show you the free stuff that you can get. In the amp section, all these look very pretty and very nice. There's one that doesn't look so pretty, called CodeX, but it is super powerful, because this can load NAM captures. And NAM means Neural Amp Modeling, which is a capture of an amp, which I'm sure you've heard of. There's also 𝗬𝗚 and Proteus that it'll load, so it'll load those 3 different types of files. I'm going to focus on the NAM files because you can download those for free from this website, which I will link in the video description. So there's a Fender Super Reverb there, 1977. You click it, you press download, go back to Genome, click open. There we go. Fender Super Reverb EQ Flat Volume 3 AKGE 414. Switch to a standard guitar now. I still need to add a cab to it, of course. So I'm going to go to the cabinet, 𝗤𝗓𝗪 cab, and I'm going to put through something Fendery. Not that. Not that. That. Jeff Stinko. Again, it needs a reverb. Nice, but I want to put a tube screamer in front of it. And he's overdone the reverb again. Sounds quite dark, doesn't it? In that case, what I'm going to do is put the CodeX there, because you can also load pedals into it. Let's select another amp, the Gemini, the Fender Twin, and we'll set it to Warm Crunch. Thank you. And then CodeX, I will open up, where is it? There. There we go. So this should be... I like that. Here's the amp without it. Here's with. It's just a little bit of fluff down the low end that I don't like. So let's get rid of that by adding an EQ and selecting that, making that a low cut. There's a little hump there I don't like. That's a great sound. That is phenomenal. That was free. Big props to the people who made those patches. I will link them in the video description. So thank you very much for making those captures. Wow. I've had a lot of fun making presets and checking out other people's presets. But is Genome worth the time and the cost? And to talk cost, we've got to talk prices, which is difficult because this video will last forever and prices change. But let's look at the current prices. The Genome will set you back €59.99 in euros. That's the smallest version. So you get a bunch of stuff with it: 14 amps, 19 pedals, 50 AI amp profiles, 15 virtual cabinets, 17 studio effects, and 100 presets. But you can also spend $149.99 and get Genome Suite. And if you do that, you get all future updates for free. So all things that are added on, future amps, things like that. And I may have misled you at the beginning of this video saying that stuff was free. It's only free in the Genome Suite. But if you've bought Genome, you can then upgrade your Genome to the Genome Suite upgrade, which is $99.99, which in total is another, it's about an extra €10 than buying the Suite as it was. That's current pricing. You can see that it's $239 at some point. So now might be the time to purchase. Now, at the moment, there are so many software amps. There's, I don't know, I couldn't even count them on all 10 fingers and 10 toes. But is Genome the one you should go for? Well, Genome is powerful but simple. I love the graphical representations. I love the simple signal chain. I love the fact that you can go deeper if you want. I love the idea that once you've got something up there, you can also do presets that are laid out quite logically, rather than some apps where it's just an absolute nightmare trying to find a sound. And I think that with this one, you can get in there and you can quickly build something that you like. Once you know what's going on in these signal chains, and just because I've got this around here doesn't mean you can't do that, for example. That would be cool. And you can add things, but not too many things. And there's a wah pedal. I need to get an expression pedal with MIDI on it. Oh, sorry, distracted. For $59.99 at the moment, I think it's a no-brainer because there's pedals that cost more than that and you won't get as much fun out of them. You just need to have the gear to actually use it. And I don't know how system heavy it is, but I've got a MacBook M3 something, and it's using currently 6%, 7% of my processing power, which is nothing. And I'm feeling no noticeable latency at all. So Genome's really easy to use and it looks beautiful. Regarding the sounds, some of them are a little bit hi-fi. There's a little bit, not digital, but toppy, and it sounds enhanced. That's because it sounds like an amp that's been recorded and is ready, almost ready for a mix, rather than you're plugged into an amp. So be prepared, it isn't going to sound like plugging into a twin, it's going to sound like plugging into a recorded twin. And that's kind of the same for many of these app solutions. And regarding the names of all these products that are in there, there's something that 2 Notes do called fair tone. And this is one of the reasons I really want to support 2Notes and Genome. Fairtone is a system that 2Notes have been using for a while, where they give back to the people that they work with, such as it says on screen, Rev, Engel, Laney, Mesa Engineering, Celestion, Ashdown, Victory, and Jensen. So if you buy something from 2Notes, the companies that are being modeled here get some money. And that's something that's often forgotten in today's modeling and capture world, that without those amps in the first place, without those pedals in the first place, we wouldn't have any of this software. I'm going to keep playing with Genome. It's going to be part of my music making workflow outside of YouTube as well. And it's an absolute no-brainer to download the 14-day trial. Go and do that. There's a link in the video description. And once you've tried it, leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you think. And if you've tried it already, let us all know what your favorite settings are.